And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to beautiful Red Wilson Field here in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. It's the latest installment of Whitey Red Sox baseball as they get set to take on the Cotuit Kettleers for the second time this season. We're playing two today. We got a doubleheader here against the Kettleers. First game starting here at 2 o'clock, the second one at 4:30. A bit of a wrinkle with these two games as they will go 7 innings each as opposed to the full 9. And that is, of course, in the interest of time. Hello, everybody, and welcome in. My name is Andre Sims, and alongside me, Brian McLaughlin. And Brian, we saw two very complete, very dominant performances from this Whitey Red Sox team. All of that momentum came to a screeching halt last night against Chatham at Veterans Field, a 7-3 loss. And realistically, it was one of those games where even 7-3 kind of feels not as indicative of how that game really went. It really felt like a much larger deficit to follow.
Felt like Chatham had runners on base all game long, and they were just clicking on all cylinders on offense. The pitching staff was dominant. Multiple times they struck out the side in the innings for YD, and even though it was close and really just a 3-run scoring triple late in that one that separated Chatham, felt like they had command the entire way through against YD from top to bottom on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and for a team like YD, who seemingly through the beginning of the season had a very high-powered offense, to see them get shut down in the way that they did was a little bit shocking, I think, for all of us, but also a credit to the Chatham pitching staff. But I think the biggest surprise for me yesterday was that defensively, this team looked shaky. We saw very good defense from this team in the early parts of the season, but 2 errors in very critical spots that cost them runs.
Yeah, most of the runs yesterday were unearned from both sides of Chatham and YD. Shaky on the defensive side. They could have limited the damage in that massive 5-run inning for Chatham, but the defense a little shaky. First time we've seen that this year. Hopefully they can kind of get things back on the right side, taking infield, outfield today. Field looks great here. We saw a little slight sprinkle, but it looks like it's a good playing surface for the defense today. So YD hoping they can turn things around.
It's the second time these two teams have faced each other this season. There was an opening day loss for the Red Sox, a 4-3 loss. And we saw the bounce back ability after that one in game number 2. YD will be looking to reclaim a little bit of that bounce back magic today. We will be right back in a second with lineups, first pitch, and all that jazz. Stick with us on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
At first base.
Welcome back in as the Arizona State product, Boyd Vanderkoy, gets set to make his Cape League debut, and he gets his warm-up tosses as we get set to have first pitch here at Red Wilson Field. And here is the Cotuit lineup that Boyd Vanderkoy will face in his debut. Leading off, Cameron Hill out of Kentucky will be playing center field. Nick Gonzalez bats second and plays second out of New Mexico State. Aubrey Major, the Xavier product, will DH tonight and hit third. Araj Anu out of Kentucky, another Wildcat. He plays right field tonight. Mason Dodd at first base out of Belmont Abbey. Parker Shavers from Coastal Carolina. Matt Mervis from Duke. Cameron Williams from the University of Arizona. Colton Kessler from Kentucky will round out the order. And on the mound, as I said, for YD tonight will be Boyd Vanderkoy, the Arizona State Sun Devil. It was a bit of a rough season for Vanderkoy in Tempe for Tracy Smith and company. 16 starts, an ERA north of 5. Gave up 4 earned in 9 of his 16 starts, and including 10 home runs, which was second highest on the Sun Devil team. Cameron Hill stepping into the box, going to get his feet set, and we are just about set to get underway here. The wind is blowing slightly out to left, so we'll keep an eye on that, as Red Wilson Field already plays small enough as it is, and with the wind blowing out, it could play even smaller in the first pitch. In there for a called strike called by home plate umpire Mark Furtado, and we are underway at 2:01. Vanderkoy on the third base side of the rubber. The 0-1 offering is just a bit outside, and it's 1-1.
Big, strong righty. Vanderkoy on the mound, going to throw some heat out there. We'll see probably the strongest arm we've seen so far for YD on the mound.
The #1 pitcher in the state of Arizona out of high school was Vanderkoy. As we take a look down, we got multiple radar guns pointed in his direction from the scout sitting behind home plate. The 1-2 on its way from Vanderkoy as he gets the sign from Austin Wells. High and tight, and that'll even the count at 2. Defensively, this is how the Red Sox are going to line up behind Vanderkoy. His battery mate tonight is from his rival school, University of Arizona. Austin Wells behind the dish as the 2-2 is on its way, and it's outside. And the count runs full. Left to right in the outfield, Noah Campbell also making his debut today. He was just activated out of South Carolina. He's in left. Jake Palmer is in center field, Andrew Eister in right. The full count offering is high, and the leadoff runner is on to start the game for the Kettleers. Left to right in the infield, Riley Terada is back at third after having the day off yesterday. Luke Waddell, also another debutant, will play short, and Drew Swift and Jack Wold make up the right side of the infield. So the leadoff runner's on for Cotuit. And Brian, this was a problem that we saw yesterday against Chatham, was falling behind hitters, the walks, the free passes, and base runners early and often, as the first pitch is a breaking ball spun in there for strike 1. Nick Gonzalez out of New Mexico State, playing in the Mountain West Conference. He waits for the 0-1, checks his swing, and the breaking ball is down in the dirt. Appeal to first, he didn't go. So a 1-1 count. Nick Gonzalez, formerly the WAC Player of the Year.
Love the whack.
Big WAC guys here. The 1-1, down low, and it's 2-1. Vail, Arizona native, batting from the right side. Vanderkoy out of the stretch, gets set to deliver the 2-1. Another breaking ball, and that one's also low, and it's 3-1.
Really going with that hook early here. Vanderkoy doesn't like the feel of his fastball, I guess. Trying to get Gonzalez to chase down low, but Gonzalez already 7 walks on the young season so far for Cotuit. he's fine drawing those free passes at the moment.
Finished the year hitting just a measly .432, did Nick Gonzalez. As the 3-1 pitch is in there for a called strike. And doesn't matter what conference you're playing in, if you hit .432, you can hit. So for the second batter in the row, Vanderkooi has run the count full and up the middle, Swift on the backhand, all the way from the shortstop side of the bag. The strong throw across the diamond, and that'll be out number 1. So a good play from Drew Swift at second base, and that is the perk of having a natural shortstop playing at second base.
There's the strong arm from Swift ranging to his right. He was playing up the middle already, and that's why he made the play on the left side of second base instead of Luke Waddell, the shortstop. I think Waddell would have had a play on it, but Swift unsure, wanted to make sure of 1 out. If Waddell fields that, maybe a chance at 2, but YD will take the first out of the inning.
So Hill advances 90 feet on the fielder's choice, and that'll bring in Aubrey Major, the 3-hole hitter, as he takes a fastball down and in for a ball, 1-0. That was an impressive play from Swift, ranging to his right. They were both crashing as the runner was on the move, and Swift just kept his momentum going and fired a strike across his body to get the out. The 1-0 delivery from Vanderkooi is swung on and flared out into left center field. Crashing hard is Campbell, but he's unable to make the play on the dive, and that'll get through, and that'll be a run. Second time in as many games, a YD outfielder has dove on a play coming in, unable to make said play, and that results in runs, and they just 1-0 Cotuit as they strike first.
Now when Campbell kind of got a bad read on it, started a few steps backwards before charging in and out in left field, just came up short. A good athlete, Ms. Campbell can play some infield as well as the corner outfield spots, but tough read on that one as the ball got in on Major a little more than he expected.
So first hit of the ball game is an RBI double for Aubrey Major, and now Araj Anu will step in, the cleanup hitter. So very early, the Red Sox find themselves down in this ball game as the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Araj Anu had a 2 RBI single the first time these two teams met as he swings and misses on the fastball up, and it's 0-2.
There's some movement on that fastball from Vanderkooi as well. He cut that one in towards the lefty. That with coupling it, sitting in the low 90s, a dangerous pitch if he's in the zone.
The 0-2 is a waste pitch down and away, and it's 1-2. A new DH the first time these two teams met. Had 2 hits, a couple of strikeouts, and 2 RBIs. And the 1-2 is on its way. Swung on and grounded off his foot, and the count remains 1-2. So far, Araj Anu hitting .333 on this young Cape League season. And Brian, as we're getting into the point in time, as the Red Sox have made a host of roster moves over the past couple days, releasing players, some of the players who have even been performing well, but as the more talented guys start to come in, some of the guys like a Jake Suttleton who got released a couple days ago, some of those guys who were playing very well early are just going to be on the chopping block simply because some of these more talented guys like a Noah Campbell, like, Luke Waddell are coming in.
No question. You got some of these big-time names really coming from a lot of the top programs at this point.
Swing and a miss, and that's a first strikeout of the game for Boyd Vanderkooi, and that's the second out of the inning.
That was, I think, the changeup from Vanderkooi. Broke down and away to the lefty Anu. He was way out in front. That's a nice pitch that we haven't seen yet from Vanderkooi. When he's up in the count, he can go to that. But we saw all the Red Sox pitchers yesterday falling behind batters. If Vanderkooi can work ahead, I think he's got a good arsenal to be a big-time strikeout guy. But at command, definitely, I think, is the question with him right now.
And you saw Araj Anu having a quick conference with Mason Dodd, who's now in the box, probably to let him know about that pitch, as it was the first time anyone in this Cotuit lineup had seen it, giving him a bit of a quick advanced scouting report. Dodd playing first base today for the Kettleers out of Belmont Abbey University. The 1-0 is in there for a called strike on the inner half, and it's 1-1.
It's a good pitch from Vanderkoy. It was some part of the fastball. He's both broke it away as a two-seamer and in kind of as the cutter. So he can do a couple different things with that fastball, and they're both sitting in the low 90s.
Yeah, certainly not a question of talent for Boyd Vanderkoy, as the 1-1 is upstairs for a ball 2-1. The very, very highly rated player in the state of Arizona, a very good baseball state. The number 2 overall player in his class out of high school. It was a big get for Tracy Smith and company to get him to stay home and pitch for Arizona State. He's yet to fully put it together in Tempe. 2-1 is an excellent breaking ball that's in there for a called strike, 2-2.
And that's why that pitch right there, he doesn't just have the low 90s fastball. He's got a changeup and a nice breaking ball that he can throw for a strike as well. That's why he was such a highly rated recruit. 3+ pitches potentially there from a guy with a great frame out on the mound. You can see why scouts love him.
2-2 is swung on and missed as he blew the fastball by Dodd, and that'll end the inning. So a bit of a rough start with the leadoff walk that comes around to score on the RBI double by Aubrey Major, but 2 strikeouts limits the damage. YD getting set to take their first hacks of the game. We'll be right back on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Leading off for the Red Sox, we have shortstop from Georgia.
Back here for the bottom of the first inning. So the Red Sox get set to take their first cuts of the game. And Luke Waddell, welcome to Cape Cod. You are leading off the day you get activated. Luke Waddell, the shortstop today out of Georgia Tech. So he looks at the first pitch inside for a ball, 1-0.
Waddell returning to YD after a stint here last year, but thrown right into the fire. Back up on the Cape this season.
The 1-0 on its way, and he's aggressive early as he slices one into left field. Chavers settles under it, and that's the first out of the inning for Christopher Farrell. Farrell is a guy that at least some of these YD hitters will be familiar with, as that's who they faced in the first game of the season. One person that'll certainly be happy to see him is Jack Wold, who was sitting in the 3 spot. He went yard off of him.
These two guys coming up next, Eister and then Wold a little bit down in the lineup, both had success. Eister went 2 for 2 in his appearance against Cotuit. So little familiarity from this YD lineup, especially here in the middle with Eister, Wells, and Wold.
Farrell pitched well against YD in the opening game of the season as the first pitch is low for a ball, 1-0. Only gave up the 1 earned run, and that was the Wold solo home run out of the College of William and Mary. But the 1-0 is swung right back up the middle, and that's a base hit for Eister. Cut off well at second by Nick Gonzalez, but the throw is not nearly in time. And that's an infield single.
Yeah, great job by Gonzalez, ranging far to his right. It was off the end of the bat from Eister, but he was able to put it right back up the middle. Even though Gonzalez stopped it in the outfield grass, he had to make a long off-balance throw. And Eister runs okay down the first baseline, was able to beat it in plenty of time.
So the Red Sox very quickly have a base runner on, and Austin Wells, the catcher today, is out of the University of Arizona, steps in. The first pitch is on its way, and an excellent frame job behind the plate from Colton Kessler. Steal strike 1. The 0-1 pitch from Farrell. A breaking ball that doesn't quite break, and it's 1-1. Well, so far, sort of struggling to find his footing offensively, taking a bit of an adjustment period, but we absolutely know that the talent and the power is there offensively. We've seen the advanced approach. We've talked about it. Hit an absolute tank that was just foul when we were down in Boston playing at BC High. And so you know that the skill set is there, and it's just waiting for it to translate for him early on. The 1-1 is taken upstairs, and it's 2-1.
And I think we've seen that he can put it together. He had the huge game at BC High. He even went 2 for 4, even though that ball was called foul. And the coaches aren't messing with his swing. They're not trying to make any adjustments at this point. They know, like you said, the talent's there. And it's just a tick off right now. He'll figure it out.
2-1 is fouled away, and that'll even the count at 2-2. So far in the young season, Austin Wells hitting .231 in 4 games. He's played every game this season. DH'd, played catcher. We've even seen him in the outfield early in this Cape League season. The 2-2 on its way from Farrell. Swung on and flared to the right side, and that may have eyes, and it kicks off the glove of Cameron Williams at short. And Austin Wells will reach. We'll see if they score that a hit or an error. That ball had some English on it.
No question. Ball in on the hands of Wells. He just kind of punched it to the left side of the infield, out of the reach of Mervis at third base. Trying to round it was Williams, but he was in double play depth. Wells moves really well for a catcher. He's a good athlete. Even if Williams fields that, it would have been a close play at first. Definitely going to be a toss-up whether that's a hit or an error. I think they're going to give Wells the infield hit.
Yeah, they scored it as a hit. And now it is 2 on and 1 out here for the Red Sox with Wold stepping up.
It's not an easy play for the shortstop Williams, and that's why it's a hit. Ranging to his right, had to try to round it, and like we said, Wells moving really well down the line. Even if that's fielded cleanly and a perfect throw to first, I think Wells beats it out, and that's why it's the infield single.
So 2 hits that have barely left the infield dirt so far, and very quickly the Red Sox have an opportunity to get that run back and pick up Vanderkoy. Farrell checks the runner at second, checks again. And the first delivery to Wold is low for a ball, and it's 1-0.
3 hits in the ball game. None have been hit all that well. The only hit for Cotuit was a little bloop into left field that Campbell dove for. Ended up being a double, but not exactly well struck. And 2 infield hits for YD here in the first.
Just goes to show you don't need to hit it hard. You just need to hit it in the right spot. And the 1-0 delivery is flared into shallow center field. And once again, you don't need to hit it hard, and that's a base knock. Coming up firing is Cameron Hill, and it's an excellent throw in, but Scott Pickler at third base very quickly giving Andrew Eister the stop sign, and the bases are loaded.
Again, a little bloop over the shortstop Williams' head at shortstop, and Eister had to freeze on the little fly ball into shallow center field, so that's really Again, like you said, soft contact, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and both teams so far have not hit the ball all that well. The pitchers have to be a little frustrated that they've been getting hit around for making pretty well executed pitches.
So 3 seeing eye singles, and Riley Terada steps in, and for a guy that like Terada who has been struggling at the plate early, this would be a big opportunity for him as he takes the first pitch in the dirt for a ball 1-0.
Great block by Kessler. I think that one came up and caught him on the mask. That ball bounced so far out in front of home plate. Not an easy play by the catcher, but he keeps it in front, holding Eister at third.
Farrell will get a new baseball from home plate umpire Mark Furtado. And in his umpiring crew today is Mickey Garcia over at first base, and at third base, Mark Delaney. Last time we were here and on the call, we had lost an umpire as home plate umpire Tim Carey went down with a hand injury after being struck with a foul ball. Hope he's doing well. So Terada will step back in with the count 1-0. Just 1 hit on the season so far for the Dayton Flyer. That one's chopped up the middle. Be a tough play for 2. They get 1 on the back end, not in time as Terada beats it out. And the Red Sox have evened up the score 1-1.
Fielder's choice for Terada drives home the run. Like you said, not an easy play for Williams, who had to take a step back to get the high hop before the flip to Gonzalez at second. It was a smooth turn, but just that step back forced the really turn to be tough. And now one of the YD favorites from last season, Noah Campbell, gets his first at-bat in 2019.
Noah Campbell, a teammate of Andrew Eister, who just scored the tying run on the fielder's choice at South Carolina. Listed as a second baseman, however, playing left field today. Was an absolutely excellent hitter for the Red Sox last season as he takes the first pitch, a fastball high and wide, 1-0. Came in and only hit close to 400 for the season.
That'll play. He was the team MVP, almost the league MVP last year for YD.
However, did struggle at South Carolina this season to the tune of a .239 average as he grounds one through the right side, and that's a base hit, and that'll score Austin Wells, and it's 2-1 Red Sox.
Sharpest hit ball of the day, and Noah Campbell, he loves hitting on Cape Cod, I guess, Andre. Comes back after missing or struggling at South Carolina and just gets a single and an RBI in his first at-bat back for YD.
So the line keeps moving as Eric Tolman now will step in as the early deficit has been erased by the Red Sox. Still 2 on, and 2 down here in the inning for YD. As Tolman, the DH, now gets set to take his first hacks. The first pitch is a fastball on the outer half, and that's in there for a called strike, 1-0.
Tolman listed as a pitcher, getting the chance to take some cuts today. Also hits for Arizona State. Got some pop.
I was at a game taking photos when one of the games where Eric Tolman went yard, and he does not hit cheapies, and hitting them out of Phoenix Municipal Stadium even after they move the fences in is no short. It is a lot deeper than Red Wilson Field. I believe it's still 390 to center after moving the fences in at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. 1-1 the count to Tolman. Lefty. And that one is flared into left center field, and that'll base hit, and that'll score a run. Terada around third to score. Campbell all the way to second. Tolman stretching it into a double. Campbell on the way to the plate. And they got him. Tried to make the aggressive turn. Almost got in underneath the tag, but in the end, it's an RBI double for Tolman. The score is now 3-1 Red Sox. Could have been more, but Campbell gunned down at the plate. So we head to the second inning now. 3-1 our score. You're listening to YD Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. And we're back here for the top of the second, and if you're Boyd Vanderkoy, you're probably the happiest person in the stadium as the early run was quickly erased, and now you're spotted with a 2-0 lead, or 2-run lead.
Yeah, it's a great job by him. He pitched okay in the first inning, gave up a walk and a bloop double that ended up scoring the run, but he's back with the lead now.
First pitch is low for a ball, 1-0 to Parker Chavers, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleer, which is probably my favorite mascot to say. Second pitch swinging, as that one is a broken bat pop-up in the infield. Terada settles underneath it, and that'll be the first out of the inning.
Already a quicker start by Vanderkoy. So he gets the Chanticleer to pop out to third base. You're right, that's a great mascot to say. Gotta love the Chanticleers. Vanderkoy already a quicker start here in the second.
So Chavers gives way to Matt Mervis out of Duke. As Vanderkoy delivers his first pitch, and it's a breaking ball low, 1-0. Vanderkoy now working with the lead, and working very quickly as the 1-0 pitches once again popped up. Austin Wells giving chase, and that'll just barely sneak into the YD dugout, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, both Wells and Terada closing hard. A lot of foul territory here at Red Wilson. Neither could quite get over there on the shallow pop-up off the bat of Mervis.
So Mervis will step back in with a second chance here in this at-bat. Count even 1-1. Mervis playing third tonight for the Kettleers. One of the players in this lineup that YD didn't see the first time around, as that one's in there for a called strike, 1-2.
And Duke made a pretty deep run to Super Regionals after being one of the last teams in to make the round of 64.
1-2 is low, 2-2.
But it also should be noted that Mervis and that Duke offense were the team that got no hit by Kumar Rocker against Vanderbilt in that Super Regional, so tough night for Mervis.
2-2 pitch is fouled into the glove of Austin Wells, and that's the third strikeout of the day for Boyd Vanderkoy.
Went up high with the heater. Mervis got a piece, but right back into the glove of Wells. Good job to hold on. Definitely settled in here in the second for Vanderkoy so far.
Yeah, it was a rough postseason for Boyd Vanderkoy. You mentioned Mervis getting no hit. Vanderkoy got roughed up by the Southern Mississippi offense to the tune of 8 earned runs over 7 2/3. His first pitch swinging is Cameron Williams out of Texas. And it's 0-1. It was an Arizona State team that just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
The Arms did, and it's something, I mean, we talk about it all the time. It holds true in college baseball, and it holds true here on Cape Cod. You need arms to be successful, and Arizona State simply did not have the arms to make a deep run this year, and Vanderkoy took sort of the brunt of not having a great bullpen behind him in that Southern Miss game, and so that's why, I mean, you look at a stat line of 8 earned runs, you'd think that they wouldn't be going as deep into a ball game as 7 2/3, but he did. The 1-2 on its way to Williams. Foul tipped into the dirt, and it remains 1-2.
Vanderkoy thought he had the strikeout. He's clear. That shows he's a workhorse out on the mound. If anything, he's willing to work deep into ball games, throw a lot of pitches. He's got the big frame for it.
The 1-2 is in the dirt, blocked there by Wells, and that'll even the count at 2 apiece.
But you're right. When you don't have that bullpen behind you, I know Vanderkoy and others were expected to go deeper in ball games. That's got to be a little frustrating for the pitcher. Your team's relying on you, and you're just getting hit pretty hard, but you got to stay in there and keep battling.
So from 1-2, the count is now 3-2, as Williams has worked a good AB here. Williams, the 8-hole hitter tonight, no batting gloves. Batting from the left side as the full count offering from Vanderkoy is just a bit high. Vanderkoy thought he had it at the top of the zone.
A couple times in that at-bat, he thought he had the strikeout. Swinging a foul tip earlier from Williams. This time he's able to watch it go just high. 92 on the radar guns, that time from Vanderkoy. It's where he's been sitting. He's going to get some looks for sure, as this is his draft year upcoming. With a fastball like that, a breaking ball, and a changeup that he can go with it.
Kessler.
It promises good things for Vanderkoy. It's whether he can put it all together and limit the walks. It's already his second walk here today.
And that is the narrative of Arizona State baseball as a whole, is the talent is there, but can they put it together?
Yep.
There's an incredibly potent offense for Tracy Smith and company and a solid pitching staff if they can put it together. As the first pitch to the 9-hole hitter, Colton Kessler, is in there for a ball, 1-0. We're talking a program in Arizona State offensively that is going to have 2 top 10 picks in back-to-back years, and Hunter Bishop and then Spencer Torkelson, who will be spending his summer with the Chatham Anglers. We'll see him later in the season. So that one's grounded right to Luke Waddell at short. He'll go the short way to Swift, and that'll end the inning. So Vanderkoy works around the 2-out walk, leaves him stranded at first, and leaves Cotuit off the scoreboard. We head to the bottom of the second here. We'll be right back on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the second inning here from Red Wilson Field in beautiful Yarmouth, Massachusetts. Had a little bit of rain earlier, but the sun is out now. A little bit of cloud cover, but certainly not the imposing clouds that you would associate with rain. So we're looking good so far.
Holding off, that's for sure.
First pitch to Jake Palmer, in there for a called strike, 0-1. Palmer, an anteater out of the University of California at Irvine. And he grounds one the other way. Mervis over at third will throw across the diamond, and that's the first out of the inning.
Palmer definitely has that approach of going the other way. Hit .307 this year for UC Irvine, but not a ton of pop. That time just couldn't get a lot on it on the grounder to third.
Drew Swift.
So that'll bring up Drew Swift, one of 3 Sun Devils in the YD lineup today. The YD team, if you count Vanderkoy on the mound, not hitting, of course. First pitch is a breaking ball that breaks outside, 1-0. Swift made the impressive play earlier in the game at second base, going all the way across the bag and fielding it from the shortstop side as he takes the second pitch low for a ball, 2-0. Swift playing at second base today, is a natural shortstop, but played all over the diamond defensively for Tracy Smith as he takes the 2-0 pitch, fastball over the outer half, and it's 2-1.
He's a guy that just profiles in the middle of the lineup or in the middle of the infields. He can be at top or bottom of the lineup hitter, really, but so smooth.
The 2-1 is close but high, and it's 3-1. Drew Swift looking to flip the lineup over, get it back to Luke Waddell, his double play partner today, at the top of the YD order. 3-1 our score here. As the 3-1 is way outside, and Drew Swift will take his jog 90 feet to first base.
Walked once last night as well against Chatham. Showing a good eye, good approach at the plate so far. 1 for 2. He drove in 2 runs in his 1 hit. So far so good for Swift at the plate for YD, getting on base and at the bottom of the order ahead of this potent top of the lineup. That's pretty important.
So in the second inning, YD has already flipped the lineup over, having much more success the second time around against Farrell as Drew Swift back with a dive on a pickoff throw. Farrell fared well. That was a bit of a tongue twister right there. The first time he faced this YD order. A few different faces in opening day as in this lineup today as Drew Swift is running on the pitch. The ball gets in between the legs of Kessler behind home plate, and Swift has it stolen.
I wonder if he was reading an off-speed pitch there, if he just took off on his own. Had a good lead, but he did get the off-speed pitch to steal on in the first pitch to Waddell. Got a good jump. If that pitch is caught, we might see a play at second, but now in scoring position with 1 down.
So now an RBI chance for Luke Waddell as he awaits the 1-0 offering. And that one's high and wide for a ball, 2-0. And this is what we talked about in the open, Brian, the ability of this team to bounce back after a loss, and an ugly loss at that against Chatham last night. They are able to flush it. You always hear athletes talk about you have to have a short-term memory. You got to be able to get these things out of your head and get ready for the next game, and they've done just that as the 2-0 is wide, and now the count's 3-0.
Definitely have to have that short-term memory. YD showed that last time out after a loss to Cotuit. This Cotuit team off to a hot start, 4-1 on the season. Their offense tops among the Cape League so far this year, so no lead safe with this Cotuit batting average.
Drew Swift, a very aggressive secondary lead, and that pitch is off the inner half, and second consecutive walk. And there are 2 on for Andrew Eister.
Yeah, he's timing him up out there at second with his lead, starting to hop towards third before Farrell delivers to the plate. You don't want to make the out at third base. You have to be very positive you're going to take it if you try to take third. And with Eister and Wells and Wold all due up here, all with hits the first time through, that makes you even be more conservative out on second if you're Swift, but looking to score on any hit with a lead like that.
Andrew Eister continuing his hot start to this Cape League season. Came in hitting .600 and is 1 for 1 today. The first offering is on its way and inside, and that's now 5 consecutive balls. Excuse me now. At least 7 now.
Yeah, even more because he walked Swift as well, and it was a 4-pitch walk to Waddell. So Farrell struggling with command. That was a first pitch breaking ball to Eister. He's been seeing a lot of off speed since arriving on the Cape.
The 1-0. Broken bat, tailor-made double play ball is 4-6-3, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Farrell as he gets out of the inning unscathed. The bat went flying, and it was a weakly hit ground ball to second base. And the Red Sox go down despite threatening here in the bottom of the second. So the score holds at 3-1. We will be right back for the top of the third on the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Leading off the
Top of the third inning now. 3-1 our score still. Cotuit with 1 run on 1 hit. The Red Sox matched that with a 3-spot of their own in the first on 5 hits now in this game. The first pitch is a changeup. Good pitch, and he got the first pitch swing from Cameron Hill. And it's 0-1.
Hill lost the grip of the bat a little bit on that cut. Had to get some extra pine tar on the bat.
Top of the order here for the Kettleers. 1, 2, and 3. And counts now 0-2. Vanderkoy working quickly once again. It's a good pitch just off the plate. Hill wasn't chasing though, and it's 1-2.
Wells set up away for the fastball, and Vanderkoy hit his spot just off the plate away.
The 1-2 offering swung on and sliced foul, and the count holds. Vanderkoy looks to be settling in here in innings 2 and 3, despite the shaky start in the first. Pitching with a lot of confidence out of the windup, and that one's flared over the head of Terada, and that'll be a base hit. Wide turn at first from Hill, but he'll stop there. And it's a leadoff single.
Another one, ball just off the end of the bat, but it's flared into shallow left. We really haven't seen much solid contact at all today. But another weak hit, and Vanderkoy will have to work with men on base in this one.
Vanderkoy in the stretch once again as it's Hill's second time on base after walking in the first to lead off the game. And Nick Gonzalez steps in for his second AB. First pitch is a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Gonzalez grounded into a fielder's choice on that excellent play from Drew Swift at second base back in the first. Good pickoff move from Vanderkoy. Almost caught Cameron Hill leaning, but he's back safely with the dive.
Just put it in a good spot. Jack Wold didn't have to move his glove at all to lay the tag down on Hill.
Hill with a decent sized lead, nothing too aggressive. Vanderkoy will step off once again. He's having a little trouble digging that back foot in. The right foot, the plant foot for him on the mound as he toes the rubber once again. Grounded on the ground to short, that could be a double play. Waddell to Swift to Wold. Unable to get the speedy Gonzalez on the back end. It was about as quick as a turn as you could ask for from Waddell and Swift in the middle there, but even with a strong throw from the arm of Swift, unable to get Gonzalez on the back end.
Slow chopper to Waddell. Once he gloved it, the turn up the middle was beautiful. Swift has quick hands, quick feet, and a strong arm, and Waddell got it to him in a great spot. Just Gonzalez, some good speed down the line, and a slow chopper, unable to turn it. Still a really close play at first.
So this second fielder's choice for Gonzalez today. First time on base as he was thrown out in the first, and Aubrey Major steps in. That one once again grounded up the middle, and that could be 2. Waddell, Swift, this time they get him the back runner at first, and that'll end the inning. So Waddell and Swift proving to be a very formidable double play combination up the middle. They get 2 chances, they get the second one, and that'll end the inning. 3-1, still our score here as Vanderkoy is settling in. We'll be right back for the bottom of the third on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the third here. Austin Wells steps in for his second AB, singled and scored a run back in the first inning. The first pitch offering is a breaking ball that doesn't quite drop into the zone, and it's 1-0. It's a tight zone for Mark Furtado behind home plate today, not giving a lot up. The 1-0 offering is swung on and missed, and it's 1-1.
Wells out in front that time. Farrell not exactly going to blow it by anybody out there on the mound, so I think that was the fastball that Wells was even early on.
The 1-1 offering is down and in for a ball, 2-1.
Really waiting for Wells to get a hold of one here at Red Wilson, see how far it goes. We've seen the power.
Ask and you shall receive, Brian. High and deep and gone into left center field. Austin Wells with a moonshot into the trees beyond the fence, and it's 4-1 Red Sox.
I'm going to say I called that one. I was kind of calling it, but didn't straight out say it. But that was pretty well hit. Wells has great power to opposite field. Absolutely hammered that one deep in the air to left center. Not going to get out at every ballpark potentially here around Cape Cod, but shallow left center field here at Red Wilson, out with ease, and no doubter. You knew it off the bat, Andre. That's a pretty swing from Wells.
Yeah, beautiful drive to left center field, like you said, Brian, the other way, and that is tough to do even in a shallow ballpark, an absolute shot, and that's the kind of talent that made him Freshman of the Year in the Pac-12. So in steps Jack Wold, who has a home run against this pitcher in his own right, and it's 2-0 on him, and now finds himself in a hitter's count.
Wells just doesn't have many holes in his swing. Because he can go to left center, the opposite field, he can pull the ball to right. He has such a good approach at the plate, it's hard to figure out where pitchers are going to attack him.
The 2-0 all the way back to the backstop, and it's now 3-0.
Power to both fields for Wells as well. Just can put the ball in play, see it well at the plate. Just a really polished hitter, just finishing up his freshman year.
So Wold looking to add to the damage here in this inning after the leadoff home run off the bat of Wells. Big swing and a miss there as he was looking for it with the green light. 3-0, and it's 3-1.
Got to respect the big cut like that by Wold. Got a pitch to hit, just came up empty.
The 3-1 offering swung on and grounded to first. Mason Dodd will take it to the bag himself, and that's the first out of the inning. Just to finish on Wells, like you said, it's just a very complete swing. It's compact, not a lot of moving parts. He's quick to the ball, stays through it, keeps the bat in the hitting zone a long, long time, and that allows him to have that power to the opposite field.
We see the approach in batting practice. Almost every time he takes a swing, it's up the middle or into left field the other way.
And that's usually the hole in a lot of young left-handed hitters' games, is that they're great if they can get inside and turn on one, but not very good to the opposite field. Wells does not have that in that problem.
And it's more than just poking it. He drives it with authority.
Terada takes the 1-0 offering downstairs, and it's 2-1. Had one debatably taken away from him down at BC High. It was tough to see whether it went over the foul pole, not just because it was hit that high over the foul pole, but no doubt about that one for his first home run of the season. Terada with a big cut and fouls it straight back, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, he kept it in between the foul poles for sure this time. We'll have to mention that to him after the game. He was convinced the one he hit at BC High was fair. Didn't even think twice about it as he watched it fly out. But this one pretty clearly fair ball.
2-1 is in the dirt. Good block from Kessler behind home plate once again, and it's 3-1.
This is a guy now at the plate, Terada, who I'm interested to see. He's struggled at the plate so far, and he struggled a bit this past year at Dayton. He has a great glove at third base. We saw him make a couple web gems so far for YD, but how he takes the approach at the plate and how that will improve.
Good approach in this at-bat as he works the walk. And so he has reached for the second time today. He reached on the fielder's choice and scored a run in the first. And that'll bring in Noah Campbell. singled and drove in a run in his first at-bat of the Cape League season.
One of the fan favorites here. He's back at YD once again with runners in scoring position, and they're actually going to shift with Campbell here batting from the left side.
Mervis all the way in on the infield grass, a few steps in from in line with third base. Now, quick check on Terada at first. He's back with the dive easily. Cameron Williams has shifted to the second base side of the bag at short. And Nick Gonzalez basically playing in what would be the hole at second base. And that's exactly where his base hit went through in his first at-bat. So Mike Roberts making the very quick defensive adjustment to try to eliminate that base hit. So we'll see what Campbell can do as the first offering is on its way from Farrell. And it's a fastball on the outer half and a called strike one. Campbell, one of a few returners on this YD Red Sox team. Don't see it too often. A lot of roster turnover year to year as he flares one against the shift, and that'll sit for a base hit. So Noah Campbell makes the adjustment to the adjustment, and that's his second base hit of the night.
It's unreal. He hit only .230 this year for South Carolina, really struggled at the plate, and all of a sudden he comes up to Cape Cod and he's unstoppable again. 2 for 2 so far for YD, and it must be something about Red Wilson Field for Noah Campbell where he can just really get cooking.
So Campbell keeps the line moving here in the bottom of the third inning. YD already with a run across on the Austin Wells solo home run as Eric Tolman now steps in, Sun Devil, and he takes a called strike one. Tolman doubled and drove in a run in his first at-bat of the game today. And in another RBI chance in his second AB. Farrell checks twice, and the 0-1 is swung on and missed. Tolman out in front, and it's 0-2.
And 2A player for ASU. Had a pretty good year pitching for the Sun Devils, but interested to see how he adapts at the plate here in the Cape League. Has displayed power so far, and he doubled in his first at-bat.
Gonna have to protect a little bit here, down 0-2. Just one out in the inning. Infield and double play depth. Mervis still in line with the bag at third as the 0-2 offering is sliced out of play, and it remains 0-2.
Choking up on the bat now, just a hair with 2 strikes. Farrell, not a strikeout guy, hasn't struck out anybody yet for YD today. Struck out 5 in 4 1/3 back on opening day when he saw these guys the first time, but yet to get a K today.
The 0-2 once again is chopped up the middle, and that could be a double play. It'll be tough. The bare hand pick, it's set short, but unable to make the throw is Cameron Williams as he, I can't really say flashed a little bit of leather because it didn't touch his leather on the way trying to make the turn, but it'll be a fielder's choice. Tolman reaches on the back end.
Yeah, it's a dangerous play from the shortstop Williams, but the flip went right to his bare hand, was able to get it and unleash the throw, making it an even quicker turn out there at shortstop. It's dangerous, but if you can execute, can be effective on the quick turn. A lot of coaches will advise against that, though, because that just means you might drop it and then everybody's safe, and you have to get at least one out on those double play balls.
So now runners at the corners and 2 men down in the inning as they look to add a couple more runs here. And Jake Palmer steps in, squares to bunt, and pulls it back. Ball goes wide, 1-0.
Pick given the signs down there at third. Potential safety squeeze. Even with 2 down, not sure if Palmer was doing that on his own or potential steal with Tolman at first. A lot in action.
1-0 offering to Palmer on its way, swinging away, and was late on the pitch and slices it foul just under the legs of a kid out there trying to make the play, bare hand.
Would have been a really nice play. That ball was moving towards the stands.
You like the effort there trying to field it with the bare hand. Down the small bleachers down the left field line. So the 1-1 offering is a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 1-2. Farrell looking to get out of the inning with just the solo shot allowed. Looking to strand a pair. Keep Cotuit in this ball game. But as you said, Brian, a very potent offense in the opposite dugout for the Kettleers. More than capable of getting back into this ball game. The 1-2. Grounded down the line, fielded by Mervis. He'll make the throw across the diamond, and that'll end the inning. So one more run on the board for the Red Sox on the Austin Wales opposite field solo shot that led off the inning. We head to the 4th inning. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Leading off the 4th,
Top of the 4th inning.
The University of Kentucky.
4-1 our score. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin with you. Vanderkoy back out for his 4th inning of work as the first pitch to the leadoff hitter Arajanu is wide for a ball, 1-0. And remember, this game is the first of a doubleheader. Only playing 7 innings in each, so after this half inning will be the halfway point of this game, as the count evens at 1-1. Second game set to start at 4:30, of course all dependent on how long this first game takes, as the 1-1 offering is down and away, 2-1. Vanderkoy working now with a 4-run lead. YD scored 3 in the first and then 1 in the last half inning off the bat of Austin Wells, as the 2-1 is a called strike, 2-2, with Arajanu yet to get the bat off of his shoulder. 2-2 on its way. Swung on and hit high into right center field. In the yard though, Eister settles underneath it, and that's the first out of the inning.
That was a skyscraper out to right center. Just got under it and hooked it to right. In this shallow ballpark, anything in the air to the outfield you think might have a chance to sneak out of here, but that one just too high, and Eister able to make the easy catch.
Wind is blowing here at Red Wilson Field. Only slightly, but still enough, as that first pitch is a big cut, and down to his knee goes Dodd. And it's 0-1.
It'll help a little bit, anything in the air towards the outfield. It'll push it, but just drifting out towards center. Not going to give it a ton of extra yardage.
Vanderkoy quickly set in the 0-1, is once again swung on and missed. Dodd wasn't close, and it's 0-2.
He broke that one away. That was the 2-seam fastball that cut away from the left-handed hitter. And Dodd, he's seen both the cutter and now the 2-seamer. That's a nice pitch from Vanderkoy.
The 0-2. Swung on, timed that one up, and that's a base hit into left center field. An aggressive turn as he gets almost halfway to second base, and he'll scamper back and not test the arm, and that's a single.
And that time, I think that was the cutter from Vanderkoy in on the hands, and that's what Cotuit's gotten a couple of their hits on today. The lefties get the ball in on the hands, and they're just fighting it off over the infield. They're not bad pitches from Vanderkoy. It's on the inner half of the plate. The balls haven't been hit that hard, but just able to fall over the shortstop, Waddell's head.
First pitch down to Chavers. Downstairs for a ball, 1-0. Vanderkoy checks on Dodd at first. A quick pick from Austin Wells, but the throw is a little high, and Dodd back with a head-first dive.
We talked a lot about Wells on the offensive side, showing it off a little defensively there. Strong throw, like you said, just high. If that one's lower, Wold might be able to lay it down on Dodd. We haven't really seen the arm yet from Wells, but that was a strong throw.
The 2-0 is in there for a called strike, 2-1.
Wells is really comfortable behind the plate. That's where he can play a lot of positions. We've seen him in left. He's taking ground balls at both third and first. Played some shortstop in high school. So he can really play anywhere, all over the diamond if needed, but says he's most comfortable at catcher. That's where he's best at defensively and wants to stay long term.
Certainly has the bat to stay at catcher and the receiving skills as well. The 2-1 is wide, 3-1.
We haven't even really noticed any balls giving him any trouble in the dirt. Everything's right there. Framing pitches well, it appears, at least from our vantage point. So lots to like defensively there. A big, strong frame.
Swing and a miss on the 3-1, and that'll run the count full. Vanderkoy had done a good job of not getting behind hitters over the last couple innings. He really settled in, but now finds himself back in a full count and a quick pickoff. Nothing doing as Dodd's back to the bag.
Yeah, he's given up one base runner now, one in the second, one in the third, one in the fourth, but really hasn't found himself in too much trouble. Nobody's gotten past first base.
The 3-2 is popped into foul territory. Terada ranging to his left, and he will make the tough play. No advance from Dodd at first.
Staring contest
Yeah.
on the way back to the bag. Dodd was just chilling about a quarter and a third of the way towards second, daring Terada to throw it. Cool, calm, and collected. Terada just walked it back to the infield. A nice catch over there at third. Continuing to just make the easy play, and that one maybe even not exactly routine. Had to make a kind of a running catch. Not sure where the boundary is over there.
Now there's no dedicated fencing along either the left or right field foul lines here, Red Wilson Field. There's just a second line to where the ball becomes out of play. There's some small bleachers down either baseline, but nothing in the way of actual fencing that you can gauge off of as a defender. So now 2 down here in the inning. The first pitch to Mervis is low for a ball, 1-0. Mervis struck out swinging his first AB back in the second. Duke Blue Devil. 2-0's high for a ball, 3-0.
Come on, boy.
And there's that tight strike zone once again from Furtado. .30 offering. Mervis taking all the way, and it's 3-1.
Definitely took something off that one to find the strike zone. Mervis has power at the plate. Hit 5 home runs this year at Duke, so you want to be a little bit careful, but at the same time, we haven't seen a lot of balls hit that hard today from Vanderkoy, so I'm fine going right after him here. Challenge him with the fastball and see what happens.
ACC versus Pac-12 right now. 3-1 once again, throwing over. They are paying a lot of attention to Dodd at first. The 3-1 fouled back into the screen, startling the fans sitting back there. And the count's full once again. Dodd will likely be in motion with 2 outs here in the inning.
If he's not in motion, he's going to be in trouble.
There he goes. The 3-2 is chopped weakly to the right side. And we'll do it again.
Just kind of flipped an off-speed pitch in there at 3-2. Made sure to throw it for a strike, and Mervis just wasted it.
Come on, boy.
So back to first base goes Dodd, only for him to take off again on this pitch. Having a quick conversation with Wold at first. There he goes. 3-2. Just a bit outside, and that's a walk.
Vanderkoy wanted it out there on the mound, but it was borderline for sure, and he knew it. Kind of tilted his head to his side. When it was not called a strike, thought he was going to get Mervis looking there. But now we have a runner in scoring position again for Cotuit.
Cameron Williams now steps in. Shortstop, batting in the 8 hole. Drew a walk at his first plate appearance tonight. First pitch is tight inside for a ball, 1-0. Vanderkoy getting the sign from a shortstop, and now we'll have a quick conversation on the mound as the whole infield will come in and make sure everyone's on the same page.
YD does have someone warming. It looks like Vanderkoy's teammate in the DH today, Eric Tolman, throwing down the left field line for YD. So if he's the next arm up on the hill for YD, that'll be interesting to see what that does to the lineup. Was the two-way guy at ASU this year, but Vanderkoy just getting a visit, calm him down after the walk, settle back in and find the strike zone here to Williams, who, like you said, Andre, walked last time up. So good opportunity, though, for Cotuit to cut into this 4-1 lead for YD.
Tolman told me pregame today that he was actually scheduled to pitch yesterday and the game before that ultimately wasn't played at Bourne. So Pickler looking to get him in the game today as the first pitch is an excellent off-speed pitch. Had Williams way out in front, and it's 1-1.
YD went with a couple of the temp guys yesterday on the mound out of the bullpen. Never got the chance to see Tolman, and like you said, we got the game canceled at Bourne 2 days ago.
Time is called as Vanderkoy got into a staring contest at second base with Dodd as Waddell came crashing to the bag, but there was no pickoff attempt made.
Good job by Vanderkoy switching up his timing. Now a ball gets loose down the left field line, and they'll call time as one got away from Tolman down in the bullpen.
So after all the commotion, everyone resets and count remains 1-1 to Williams, looking to drive in the RBI. So 1-1 is a fastball that tails wide, 2-1. Critical moment in the game for both teams, for Vanderkoy looking to get through a clean 4th inning, and for Cotuit looking to claw their way back into this ball game.
Especially just a 7-inning game here in the doubleheader.
2-1, sliced into foul territory. Terada giving chase, but that'll get into the crowd on the small hill that lies just over the boundary. Deuce is wild, as they say. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Tolman takes a couple looks. There's the throw. Dodd's back with a headlong dive.
Good job, though. Good timing between Vanderkoy and Waddell. Dodd does a good job not getting too far off the bag, but he definitely has Vanderkoy's attention at the moment on the mound.
The 2-2. Breaking ball. Vanderkoy wanted it. Gives a couple nods and gets the ball back from his battery mate, and the count runs full.
Broke kind of around the outside of the plate. Almost got him on the back door, and it's a breaking ball that's almost like a 12-6, straight up and down, but just a little side-to-side action there. Wells couldn't quite frame it for strike 3.
The full count offering. Both runners go, and it's a dribbler to the left side. Waddell, tough play over to Wold. Can't get the scoop, and that'll get into the bleachers, and that'll score a run. It was going to be a tough play. Waddell had to get the quick throw, just couldn't quite get enough on it over to Wold, and it short hopped him, and he was unable to pick it at first.
All of a sudden, Cotuit in business to potentially tie it. 2 in scoring position with 2 down here. 1 run already across as Dodd scores. If you're Wold, you got to try to keep that in front, at least keep Mervis at second and Williams at first. Even if you don't make the pick cleanly, I would have liked to see him try to just knock that one down.
So it's an E6 for Waddell on a tough play, and that's a tough break for him as he just couldn't quite muster enough on the throw.
It is an error. He had to get rid of it quickly, but a ball that Wold was working on Scoops pregame, couldn't quite pick it.
First pitch is flared off the right side, and it's 0-1.
Now this is the biggest batter of the game so far. Kessler with the hit, a chance to tie it. Williams has good speed on second.
So now the tying runner is Williams at second base. So a big chance here for Cotuit, as the 0-1's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike 0-2.
Now it's going to be interesting to see what Vanderkoy does. Up 0-2, does he trust the breaking ball? I wouldn't be shocked if he goes changeup, down and away to the lefty here, trying to get the swing over the top, or at least induce something soft on the ground, but he can't leave it out over the middle.
The 0-2 went with the fastball away. It's exactly where he wanted to put it.
Spotted it well, for sure, right at the mid of Wells, but again, Wells sitting up off the plate, trying to get Cotuit to chase.
Fish weren't biting, as they say, and it's now 1-2. Kessler, the Kentucky Wildcat, grounded out to short his first time up to end the second. Good block from Austin Wells behind the dish to keep the runner at third, and it's 2-2.
Yep, there's the defense from Wells to really complete his game. He was set up outside. That was a breaking ball low and into a lefty, so away from where Wells was set up. He slides across and doesn't just block it, blocks it right at his feet. No chance or even a thought from Mervis to try to score.
The 2-2 offering is a great pitch just off the outer half. Wells held it for a little longer than normal. He wanted it, Vanderkoy wanted it, crowd wanted it.
Multiple times this inning, Vanderkoy has thought he's gotten out of it with a strike 3, but just hasn't been able to catch that zone today from Mark Furtado.
Furtado has been consistent. He has not given a lot on any side of the plate, but he blows the fastball by Kessler 3-2, and Vanderkoy strands a pair. Cotuit scratches back a run. It was unearned, scored on the error from Luke Waddell, so the score now is 4-2. We head to the bottom of the fourth on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Back at Red Wilson Field, bottom of the fourth, it's YD 4, Cotuit 2. Here in this matchup between the Red Sox and the Kettleers. First of 2 today, a doubleheader between YD and Cotuit. YD on top, 4-2. 9-1-2 due up here in the bottom of the fourth for YD. Swift, Waddell, and Eister due up against Chris Farrell. Here's the first pitch from Farrell to Swift. The breaking ball dives down low for ball one to the righty second baseman from Arizona State. Swift walked in the second, stole second base, and ended up being stranded at third. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball back up the middle off the glove of Farrell. Finds its way to Gonzalez at second. Fires to first in time to get Swift. So that's going to be a 1-4-3 ground out in the books as it hit off of Farrell's glove for the first down here in the fourth.
Now, fortunate bounce there for Farrell and Cotuit, as oftentimes when you see a ball kick off a pitcher's glove, it can go in any direction.
Ended up just popping up in the air.
Yeah, stayed true. Ended up in the glove of Gonzalez at second.
Now Luke Waddell with one down. First pitch off the plate inside to the lefty from Georgia Tech. Waddell 0 for 1 with a walk in his 2019 debut for YD. Here's the 1-0. Takes a fastball just outside to the lefty. 2 balls and no strikes to Waddell. He had a great year at Georgia Tech this season. Hit .322 in 58 games. A couple of home runs and 12 doubles. The 2-0 misses down in the dirt, 3 balls and no strikes. Struggled a bit last year for YD. Hit just .243. 1 double, no long balls for Waddell. Most impressive this year at Georgia Tech, though, Andre, 45 walks to just 22 strikeouts. The 3-0. Called strike on the inner half, 3 balls and a strike. So a really tough guy to ring up, and he's going to take his free passes. Ideal for the top of the lineup.
Yeah, exactly the kind of table setter that you want. It's going to see a lot of pitches, work the count.
Fists the 3-1 over Mervis on the infield, and that's going to trickle into shallow left. Talk about a bloop single. Mervis was up on the grass at third, in on the hands. He pushed it over the head of Mervis, and it spun out of the reach of Cameron Williams off the dirt and into the grass in left field where Shavers picked it up. A 1-out single for Waddell, his first of 2019 with YD.
It's just the name of the game today. Seeing eye singles all over the diamond. Just hit them where they ain't.
Only ball really hit hard was the solo home run from Austin Wells in the third. Check on first base. Waddell's back safely. Aside from that, YD has 5 other hits. Make it 6 now with Waddell's single here in the fourth. They have just muscled the ball into shallow outfield. First pitch to Eister is a breaking ball down low from Farrell, 1-0. He had 5 hits in a 3-run first inning. To answer after Cotuit scored 1 off Boyd Vanderkoy back in the first. Then Wells' home run put YD up 4-1 in the third. Cotuit just scored 1 in the fourth. The 1-0 misses outside to Eister, 2 balls and no strikes. Eister singled and scored back in the first inning. Hit a slow ground ball up the middle, and now there's going to be a visit from Mike Roberts out to the mound to talk to his man Farrell. I think we're going to see a pitching change as well. Everybody converges on the mound, and we'll step aside. We'll get you the new arm for Cotuit. YD leads 4-2, middle of the bottom of the fourth inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Cola Products.
Back at Red Wilson Field, Chris Troy, the man on the mound for Cotuit as they make a mid-at-bat pitching change. YD on top, 4-2 over Cotuit here in the bottom of the fourth in our first game of a doubleheader today between Cotuit and YD. Troy out of UC Santa Barbara making his first appearance for Cotuit this season. 4 starts on the year for him at UC Santa Barbara, 13 total appearances. Went 2-1, 4.42 ERA. He's 6'5", 230 out on the mound, an imposing presence. And he enters with 1 down, Luke Waddell on first, and a 2-0 count to Andrew Eister. Coming in relief for Chris Farrell. Farrell goes 3 1/3 out on the mound. Line not yet complete as Waddell is his man on first. Quick check by Troy over at Waddell, but he slides back safely. Troy from the stretch sets the middle of his chest. Another check on first base. Waddell again back with the slide. Seven of 9 stolen bases this season for Waddell at Georgia Tech. So he's got some speed over there at first. Troy comes set. Now to the plate with the 2-0. Fastball high and away. 3 balls, no strikes to Eister. Eister singled and scored in the first and grounded into a double play in the second.
Just 13 appearances for the Gauchos this past season.
3-0, high and outside, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Eister. Both Farrell and Troy throw 2 balls apiece to him, and it's runners on first and second with 1 down for Austin Wells.
And walks were something that were an issue for him this past season. 18 1/3 innings, 17 walks in that 18 1/3. And as a pitcher, that's not something you want to see. You definitely want to get those numbers down. Did have 26 strikeouts in that same amount of time, but that is a high number of walks to go in that little amount of innings.
Only gave up 10 hits, but you're right, 17 walks definitely raises an eyebrow or two. Wells 2 for 2 today. He has 2 runs, including a long home run to left center. First pitch from Troy, swing and a miss from Wells. It's 0-1. He's going to get his strikeouts, miss some bats, but certainly believes that there's going to be some walks as well. Troy from the stretch, Waddell on second. Big lead for Eister on first. He's not being held on. Slight shift from the infield of Cotuit. The 0-1. Wells skies it, left side, foul territory. Mervis over, gives it a look, but it's into the trees and out of play.
And it's interesting that Cotuit is opting to shift on Austin Wells, especially having just seen what he can do to the opposite field. So obviously they see something that suggests shifting him to the pull side, but for me, that seems like a mistake.
At least in the air, he's good at hitting the ball the other way. They think he's going to pull it on the ground. Outfield is straight away. Mervis in the hole at third. Williams in up the middle at shortstop. Here's the 0-2. Down and away, scooped up by Kessler. A ball and 2 strikes, and a pretty good heater from Troy. Wells starting to heat up at the plate for YD with his 2 hits today. YD on top, 4-2 in the bottom of the fourth. A 7-inning doubleheader today. The 1-2. Wells drives it deep in the air to right, going back on it anew. 2 home runs on the day for Austin Wells. This one, a 3-run shot in the fourth, putting YD up 7-2. Have a day, Austin Wells. 3 for 3, 2 bombs, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. That one, another no-doubter, got all of it to right.
The first baseman.
Yeah, have a day, Austin Wells, and I think this is the coming out party. We were talking about it, him slowly making the adjustments, had a little bit of struggles early, but seeing the ball much better over these last few games and seeing it the best he's seen it all season today.
First pitch high and away to Jack Wold. A coming out party indeed for Austin Wells. He's accounted now for to himself, drives in 3. Over half of the 7 runs for YD today. Wold laces the 1-0, fouled on the first baseline.
And one of the pieces of technology being used on the Cape this season are those TrackMan devices, which are tracking bat speed, launch angles, exit velocity, things like that. Austin Wells was very excited to use those today as another way for scouts to be able to track data that they otherwise wouldn't get. And talk about a first impression with the technology. To be able to have 2 incredibly well-driven balls leave the park and very hard hit off the bat as well. The scouts in attendance have to like what they're seeing.
The one to left center was almost a bit more of a line drive that just kept going. This one to right, a moonshot that he just was able to hook over the wall. 1-2 count here to Wold. Troy working from the windup now. The pitch misses high and away to Wold. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Troy felt something. He's walking off the mound. And the last pitch did not feel good from Chris Troy.
Yeah, he's favoring that right leg a little bit. Maybe a muscles tightened it up there. Had a little bit of a limp as he was walking off.
Definitely did not feel good on that last pitch. And you have to imagine we're going to see some sort of change. As Mike Roberts talking with him now, along with the catcher, Colton Kessler. It's 7-2 YD, bottom of the 4th. Austin Wells just hit a 3-run bomb. It looks like we're going to see the 3rd pitcher of the inning here for Cotuit. They'll have to get somebody up in a hurry as Troy gingerly works his way to the dugout. Tough to tell what the injury was, and obviously don't want to guess from our vantage point. You hope Chris Troy's okay. Somebody trying to make an impact here in the Cape Cod League.
Throughout New England, including
Cotuit trying to get somebody up in their bullpen.
Also an award-winning French restaurant and retail store.
7-2 YD, bottom of the 4th. Waiting to see who Cotuit's going to go to before we step aside here, folks. We saw an injury to an umpire the last time out, Andre, and obviously just something you hate to see from any position, somebody ending up hurt in a prestigious league like this, just trying to come out and show what they've got. Troy, a big strikeout guy, but something didn't feel right today. He came in and walked Eister, allowed a home run to Wells, and a 2-2 count to Wold, and on that last pitch, a ball up and away was where he really felt something, I think.
Yeah, and that's always the ones that kind of make it worse, where the player just removes themselves because they feel something instantly and they know that it's just not right. And that's really where it's like it's seemingly, I mean, it's like the equivalent of like a non-contact play in basketball or football where they seemingly don't do anything wrong. It's just an unfortunate moment.
Nobody's wants to see that, as the new arm coming in for Cotuit will be the lefty out of the pen, Matt Moore from Purdue. We'll get you more on him and his information when we return. It's 7-2 YD here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. 7-2 YD. We're still in the bottom of the fourth at Red Wilson Field. Game to 7 innings today. New pitcher on the mound for Cotuit following an injury to Chris Troy. Had to exit the ball game after the home run to Austin Wells. Threw 4 pitches to Jack Wold, but gives way to Matt Moore, the lefty from Purdue. Only other appearance, one batter he faced against YD in the home opener. The 2-2 called strike 3. A breaking ball gets Wold looking. Wold thought it was outside, but there's the second out in the fourth.
Yeah, that was almost a Frisbee-esque breaking ball there. Probably broke about a foot laterally.
Riley Terada.
2 down, bases clear now for Riley Terada. YD on top, 7-2. First pitch to Terada, fastball on the outer half for strike 1. Terada reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first. Walked and was stranded on third in the third inning. We're in the bottom of the fourth now. Moore with the 0-1. Inside, and it hits Terada pretty squarely around the belt. He'll head down to first base. And a base runner with 2 down now for YD. Terada's been on all 3 times
Left
today.
fielder from the University of South Carolina.
Even if it hasn't been base hits, it's got to feel good for Terada just to be getting on base consistently. You got to start somewhere. He's been struggling at the plate, and it's good for him to just reach base and start to build some momentum positively offensively.
Noah Campbell will bat from the right side for the first time today. Terada going, but he's picked off. Throw to second base in time, just barely. Gonzalez slaps the tag down on the feed from Dodd. Moore picked off Terada. He got him on the lefty move. Terada made it a close play at second, but he's called out for the third out here in the bottom of the fourth. YD gets 3 on the 3-run bomb from Austin Wells. They're on top, 7-2. Fifth inning coming up next on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the fifth, top of the lineup. Up for Cotuit, it's 7-2 YD. Here as we begin the fifth inning. New arm on the mound for the Red Sox. It's the Arizona State Day on the mound for YD. Eric Tolman relieves Boyd Vanderkoy, both some Sun Devils. Tolman, the lefty who just finished up his freshman season, already DHing today, so getting a time out on the mound as well. Cameron Hill to lead off for Cotuit. First pitch, one hopper right side, right at Drew Swift. Takes a step back into the outfield grass and relays to Jack Wold at first base for the first out on one pitch for Tolman here in the fifth.
That's definitely the start you want for Eric Tolman in his Cape League debut. We talked about it earlier. Was scheduled to pitch the last couple days, but never got in there. So now able to come in, get a clean inning, and see what he can do.
Now Nick Gonzalez. He's hitless today. Reached on a fielder's choice in the third against Vanderkoy. First pitch to Gonzalez, grounded this time left side, circling at the shortstop Waddell. Slight bobble, a throw to first in time. Gets Gonzalez by about a half step. Recovering from the slight bobble was Waddell. 2 pitches, 2 outs for Eric Tolman. Hard to argue with that efficiency out there.
Even better start. Continues to build. I mean, you have to like what you're seeing if you're Tolman. You have to like what you're seeing if you're Scott Pickler. And you have to like what you're seeing if you're Boyd Vanderkoy. You got to be happy for your teammate.
Before the next batter for Cotuit, quick final line for Boyd Vanderkoy. 4 innings pitched, he gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, only 1 was earned, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts for Vanderkoy on the mound. Now a pinch hitter for Cotuit as it's a first pitch called strike from Tolman out on the mound.
Man, oftentimes if the first 2 batters of the inning make outs on the first 2 pitches of their at-bat, oftentimes you'll see managers tell the third hitter, just take it. Doesn't matter if it's a ball or a strike. Got to make the pitcher at least attempt to break a sweat.
Breaking ball in the dirt. A check swing from Joe Casey, the pinch hitter. They say he did go around for strike 2, and quickly 0-2 from Tolman. Here is the 0-2. Breaking ball off the plate away. A ball and 2 strikes to Casey. Casey, the left-handed hitting outfielder from Oregon State. In at designated hitter now for Albury Major. The 1-2. Check swing, ball in the dirt, appeal down to third base. He did go around, strike 3. Wells will lay the tag on Casey. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Eric Tolman. Quite the debut on the hill for him. 7-2 YD through 4.5. We'll be back on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 5th, YD 7, Cotuit 2 here at Red Wilson Field. Campbell, Tolman, and Palmer due up for YD against Matt Moore in his 2nd inning of work out on the mound. We can now, after the 4th inning is complete, get you the final lines for Cotuit's pitchers thus far. Chris Farrell goes 3 1/3, gives up 8 hits, 6 runs. They are all earned. 4 walks, no strikeouts, and a rocky day on the mound for Farrell. And then Chris Troy, who had to exit due to injury after just 1 batter. Only 1 hit. It was a run. It was an earned run on the 3-run home run from Austin Wells before he had to leave in the middle of the at-bat to Jack Wold. Matt Moore now on the mound after retiring 2 men. There's a quick conference with the umpires before we get going here in the bottom of the 5th. Noah Campbell to lead off against Matt Moore here in the 5th inning. He was on base when Riley Terada tried to swipe second base. Campbell, the switch hitter, 2 for 2 today, back with the YD Red Sox after an outstanding campaign in 2018 for YD. Cape League All-Star finished the year with a .364 batting average, 6 home runs, 7 doubles, 15 walks to 21 Ks. As now the umpire conference continues, and Mike Roberts out of the dugout having a word with the umpires as they continue to meet down the first baseline.
And I'm not sure what the conference is about, but whatever it is, Mike Roberts is not too happy about it. As the home plate umpire Mark Furtado turning around and telling Mike Roberts, let us talk.
Wonder if there's some defensive substitutions going on here, or what the verdict may be.
I think they're fighting about a call.
Roberts still chirping with first base umpire Mickey Garcia. Certainly frustrated about something. This is now Garcia and Furtado will come back together. Mark Delaney wants to join the fun. He'll jog back over.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I'm going to start a rumor.
Just start rumors.
Illegal.
Noah Campbell waiting at the plate. We're still waiting to figure out what this conversation could be as we wait to get started here in the bottom of the fifth. Only a 7-inning game as we're in the first of a doubleheader, and now Mark Furtado coming to have a conversation with Scott Pickler. And Furtado does a 360, or a 180, I guess. Spins back around and we'll head to confer with Roberts. Some ping pong for Furtado. Pickler awaiting the verdict along the third base line as Campbell awaits to get in the batter's box. Moore continues to toss.
Through some expert lip reading and some eyes and ears on the field, it looked as though Mike Roberts was taking exception with the fact that, and I noticed this, that they were about to pinch hit R.J. Yeager in Eric Tolman's spot, who's now on the mound. And I guess Mike Roberts was not happy with being able to then still replace the DH with a new hitter.
Ball and a strike now to Campbell, as I suppose if Pickler had made the change, he could have made a double switch by moving the position of Tolman to the mound and essentially then inserting Yeager in the lineup as the 1-1 misses down low. The way Pickler would have had to do that, Tolman would have had to go to the mound, essentially then becoming the pitcher. But then Yeager's spot in the lineup would have been in the DH, and I don't think that's legal. The 2-1. High and away to Campbell, 3 balls and a strike. On deck, Tolman does have a double and an RBI today. It came back in the first inning. 3-1 count to Campbell, hitting from the right side as we're back underway at Red Wilson. Here's the pitch. High and inside, ball 4, and Noah Campbell reaches base for the 3rd time today. Great return to the lineup from him, and now it will be Tolman.
From Arizona State University, Eric Tolman.
Tolman reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd, as well as his RBI double back in the 1st. On that double, it was Noah Campbell who tried to score from first, but got gunned down at the plate that ended the 3-run first for YD. Moore will check on first. Campbell back with a head-first slide. Moore ended the 4th inning by picking off Riley Terrata over there at first. From the stretch, works from the 3rd base side of the rubber. Deals. Breaking ball misses down and away to Tolman, scooped by Kessler. Mervis in on the grass at 3rd, anticipating a potential bunt with Tolman. Now in at pitcher. Rest of the infield plays the lefty to pull. Gonzalez in the hole at 2nd. Williams shaded up the middle at shortstop. The 1-1. Checks his swing, now 2-0 rather. They'll appeal to 2nd. Delaney says he did not go. 2 balls, no strikes to Tolman. Outfield straight away. Moore with the 2-0. Tolman grounder right side. Glove Gonzalez pivots, throws to 2nd 1. Williams relay to 1st in time. Smooth 4-6-3 double play, and the twin killing all of a sudden leaves no man on with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th for YD. They're still on top, 7-2.
Yeah, that was about as tailor-made of a double play ball as you're going to get it. Comfortable ground ball. Gonzalez barely had to move and was able to make the quick throw over to get the 4-6-3 working.
With 2 down, we'll see a pinch hitter for YD. That's Sam Hall. He's in there for Jake Palmer.
Clemson University, number 12, Sam Hall.
Hall got his first start yesterday. 0 for 3 so far with YD. Moore with the first pitch. Hall fouls it back to the screen, 0-1. Hall will likely just enter a straight switch with Jake Palmer in center field. Bottom of the 5th here in the first game of a doubleheader today between Cotuit and YD. Moore sets at the belt, brings the 0-1. Breaking ball in on the hands of Hall, and he cracked the bat on that one. That is quite the slider out on the mound. A lot of lateral movement from Moore. Really got in the hands of Hall this time.
Yeah, it's like Sergio Romo-esque.
Yeah.
There, it's like a frisbee slider moving across, moving in towards righties away from lefties.
Hall gets a new piece of lumber. Down 0-2 in the count now. Bases clear, 2 down, bottom of the 5th.
A lot of broken bats today as well, and that comes with the soft contact that we've seen throughout this game, but I think that's at least 4 or 5 in this one that have been broken.
And the only hitter with any solid contact is Austin Wells with his 2 home runs. The 0-2. Ground ball at the shortstop Williams. Up with it, throw to first to get Hall by a step. YD is retired in order in the 5th thanks to the double play. They're on top, 7-2 through 5. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 6th, YD on top, 7-2 here at Red Wilson Field over Cotuit. Eric Tolman back out on the mound for his second inning of work today against Cotuit. He'll face the middle of this Cotuit order. Anu, Dodd, and Chavers due up. There he combined 1 for 6 today at the plate. Tolman worked through a very quick 5th inning. A 1-2-3 frame where the first 2 batters both grounded out on the first pitch. First pitch to Anu misses down and away for ball 1. He then was able to get the pinch hitter Joe Casey on a strikeout to end the frame. The 1-0. Ground ball left side through the infield past Terada and Waddell, and it trickles out to Noah Campbell in left. A leadoff single for Anu, his first knock of the day. Anu now continues early season success for Cotuit, hitting above 300, 8 for 24 for an even 333, including a 1 for 3 day today. So staying right on par with that, getting a hit 1 out of every 3 times at the plate. Now Mason Dodd, 1 for 2 today, hitting from the left side. First pitch, fastball, called strike on the outer edge to Dodd. Dodd singled and scored in the 4th. He was struck out by Boyd Vanderkoy to end the first inning for Cotuit. The 0-1. Breaking ball on the outer half again. A pretty pitch called strike 2. And Tolman's up Big 0-2 on Dodd. Dodd from Belmont Abbey. Playing first base. Does have one home run this year. Tolman from the stretch. Looks at anew. Here's the 0-2. Fouled back on an emergency hack by Dodd to stay alive. Everybody in action around Cape Cod today. Everybody playing a doubleheader on this Sunday afternoon. Brewster's on top in the bottom of the fifth, 9-3 over Hyannis. Harwich leads Falmouth 1-0. The 0-2. Swing and a miss by Dodd. Absolutely handcuffed on the sharp breaking ball from Tolman. His second strikeout today, and it's the first out here, the sixth.
And none chance on that swing from Dodd. He was way out in front as Tolman swung the breaking ball in there. Dipped out, ended up in the dirt, and that's one of those where you commit to it so early that it's just impossible for you to check your swing.
First pitch breaking ball down low to Parker Chavers, 1-0.
Tolman seems to have a good feel for that breaking ball in this outing. He's throwing it in there with confidence, throwing it in any count, which is honestly the truest sign of confidence in a pitch. He's trusting it regardless of whether you're down in the count 3-0 or up in the count 0-2.
1-0 fastball misses down and away, and he falls behind Chavers. No balls, or 2 balls, no strikes rather. Chavers has popped out to Riley Terada twice today at third base. Runner takes off. The 2-0 misses high and inside. Wells throw, Waddell the catch, the tag, and the out. Austin Wells cuts down Araj Anu, trying to swipe second base. The great day for Austin Wells continues, this time from behind the plate. Shows off the arm, and there's 2 down in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, you talk about the arm, but what impressed me on that one was the quick feet. He was out of his crouch super quick. You talk about pop time a lot for catchers, and that was excellent there.
3-0 fastball right down the chute for strike 1. Whitey on top, 7-2 in the top of the sixth. Austin Wells, the player today, the 3-1. Fastball high, ball 4, and it's a 2-out walk from Tolman to Chavers. At the plate, Wells is 3 for 3, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and obviously 2 runs scored, but he singled and scored in the first as well, so 3 runs for Wells today. Accounting for 5 of the 7 Whitey runs. First pitch to Matt Mervis. This is down low for ball 1. Wells with the block. Definitely the coming out party for Austin Wells. We've been expecting this for the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Chavers on first with 2 down. The 1-0 to Mervis. Breaking ball again low in the dirt. That Wells chests out in front of home plate. Mervis 0 for 1. He walked in the 4th and was stranded on 3rd. Tolman sets the belt. Checks on first. Back standing is Chavers.
That's a 9-year-old. There's no strikes on the slider.
Here's the 2-0 to Mervis. Fastball down low. 3 balls and no strikes. A little bit of struggles with command here for Tolman after such a great first inning in relief. Walked 1, and now he's down to Mervis, the 3-0. Fastball down the middle for a called strike, 3-1.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, given that this is game 1 of a doubleheader, if this is Tolman's game to finish, should he continue to pitch well?
3-1 count to Mervis. Runner leads off first. The check on first. Back safely.
Scott Pickler has shown early in this season that he is not afraid to let relievers go 2-3 innings as long as they are pitching well. So, and with the score being 7-2 here, there's not a need really to bring in a high-profile arm, a closer type, when you don't need to.
The 3-1 skied left side of the infield. Terada wants it in foul territory, and he makes the catch. No runs for Cotuit in the 6th. They had 1 hit, no YD errors, 1 man left aboard. It's 7-2 YD. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
One high.
Bottom of the sixth, YD on top, 7-2. Drew Swift to lead it off for YD against Matt Moore on the mound to begin this sixth. Only one inning remaining as YD looks to close it out, the first of two games of a doubleheader today. YD and Cotuit. Drew Swift hitless. He's 0 for 1. He walked and stole second base back in the second inning. First pitch from Moore of the sixth. Called strike on the outside part of the plate to Swift. It's 0-1. It's been the ASU show today. Both pitchers from your Sun Devils, Andre. Now Drew Swift at the plate. The 0-1. Off the plate inside, a ball and a strike.
Just an all-around good day for the Pac-12.
Yeah.
On this team, of course, Austin Wells, the fierce rival of the Sun Devil contingent and catcher from the University of Arizona, but conference rivalries put aside for the sake of a Cape League teammate.
They were talking all about their different experiences this year in the Pac-12, especially I noticed Swift and Wells discussing UCLA, the number one team in the country that got knocked out by Michigan. The 1-1, high and away to Swift, 2 balls and a strike. They were both surprised to see UCLA get knocked out by the Big Ten school Michigan. And Michigan started yesterday's College Baseball World Series with a win against Texas Tech. The 2-1 misses up and away, 3 balls and a strike to Swift. So the Big Ten getting some noise in the College World Series this year. Not exactly known for their baseball, but the Wolverines making things happen. Moore brings the 3-1. Swift takes a strike at the knees, and it's full with none down. Bottom of the sixth. Waddell on deck for YD as they'll flip the lineup over here after Swift. Moore with the 3-2. Fouled back by Swift to the screen, and we'll see another 3-2 from Moore to Swift. Of course, Arizona State had an early exit in the College World Series, which we've discussed. Austin Wells and Arizona just missed out on making the round of 64. They were one of those bubble teams, the 3-2. Fouled off again by Swift. Wells was disappointed that his team didn't make it. As a couple of those teams that just barely made the tournament ended up advancing to the Super Regionals, including Duke, one of those last 4 in, a bubble team, Matt Mervis for Cotuit. Here's the 3-2. Breaking ball off the plate inside, and Swift is aboard for the second time today, both with walks, and now a man aboard for Luke Waddell.
The shortstop from Georgia Tech, Luke Waddell.
Waddell in his debut for YD here in 2019, played with the Red Sox in 2018. 1 for 2 today. He singled and was aboard when Austin Wells launched the moonshot home run to right back in the 4th. Lefty-lefty matchup with Moore. First pitch fastball high for ball 1. Waddell, another middle infielder to add to a strong group of middle infielders here at YD, along with Swift. Wyatt Young not in the lineup today. We've seen him have some success from Pepperdine. Check on first. Swift is back. But definitely a lot of options for Scott Pickler, I would say, Andre, and all sorts of different locations, a lot of versatility on the squad.
Absolutely, and especially when you look at it defensively, a lot of smooth, versatile infielders that can play all over the diamond. You mentioned Young, Swift, Waddell, Campbell playing left tonight as a second baseman, Terada, Yeager, like that. You know, they always say depth is never a problem.
Yeah.
On a team. You can never have too many options. My biggest concern is whether or not there'll be able to be enough at-bats for all of these very talented players.
1-1 the count to Waddell as he took a 1-0 fastball strike. Moore comes set. Here's the 1-1. Fouled back by Waddell, a ball and 2 strikes. I imagine Pick will be able to find a way to get all his guys in there. He's been keen to use his bench late in ball games. More sets, 1-2 the count. He'll go to first, taking off for second. Swift, the throw, and it's in plenty of time. Cotuit picks off Drew Swift. He was leaning at first. That is a nice move by Matt Moore. The second time today he's picked off a YD base runner.
Yeah, clearly YD base runners feel like they see something that makes them think that they have him timed, and that's clearly not the case because Moore is very quick with that pickoff move over to first.
The 1-2. He slipped a bit on the mound. The ball misses down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Waddell. Moore and picked off Riley Terrata. Back to end the 4th inning for YD. He then worked through a scoreless 5th and erases Drew Swift for the first out here in the 6th. The 2-2. Misses outside to Waddell, and it's run full. There is some action for YD down the left field line. We'll see if Tolman gets the 7th or not. The 3-2. Line drive up the middle, but it's snared by Cameron Williams. Positioned beautifully, shifted up the middle, right over the head of Matt Moore was the line drive from Waddell, but right into the glove of Cameron Williams, who barely had to move a step to his left for the second out.
Yeah, that's why you scout people. You know their tendencies. It's perfectly positioned to field that line drive.
Hard out from Waddell. He's 1 for 3. And now a pinch hitter for YD. For Andrew Eister, it's R.J. Yeager. First pitch down low to Yeager. Ball 1 from Moore. Eister was 1 for 2. He'd scored twice today. He also walked off Chris Troy. Yeager made his debut yesterday for the Red Sox. Hits from the right side, the 1-0. Fastball called strike, belt high to Yeager. A ball and a strike now. Yesterday, Yeager went 0 for 4. He did have an RBI and he walked. Struck out once. The 6'4" shortstop from Mercer waves and misses at the 1-1, and it's 1-2. Says he models his game after Carlos Correa, the big shortstop. You can understand why. Can play some third as well. That's where he got the start yesterday. Here's the 1-2 for Moore. Misses down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Carlos Correa, not a bad person to try to model your game after.
No, the all-star shortstop for the Houston Astros. World Series champion and MVP contender, the 2-2. Yeager fists it fouled on the first baseline. It's going to fall harmlessly in the grass. 2-2. Definitely got some power. You can see why Yeager models himself after. Similar build to Correa. The 2-2 from Moore. Breaking ball misses down low. A check swing. They'll appeal to first, but Mickey Garcia confirms that Yeager didn't kill. 3-2 count, 2 down, bottom of the 6th. YD on top 7-2 over Cotuit. And the 3-2 for Moore. Skied, shallow center field, going out Nick Gonzalez. Charging hard the center fielder. He'll slide, it's Hill, but making the easy catch is Gonzalez. Hill ran a long way in from shallow center field. Gonzalez had a beat on it, and he makes the catch to end the frame here in the 6th. YD is scoreless. They had one man reach, but nothing doing in the 6th. They'll look to close it out in the 7th. 7-2 YD. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Thank you very much.
7-2 YD, top of the 7th, looking to close out game 1 of today's doubleheader against Cotuit. They're on top 7-2. A new arm out for YD, Andrew Mundy from Hofstra to get us started here in the 7th. He'll begin his outing with a first pitch breaking ball to Cameron Williams. Hitting from the left side, it's a called strike. Quick 0-1 from Mundy. Working quickly now, the big righty fires the 0-1, fouled back by Williams, and it's 0-2. Mundy, the right-handed pitcher from Hofstra, 6'1", 220 pounds. 4.98 ERA this year at Hofstra, worked 37 2/3 innings. Made 5 saves, so really made his money out in the bullpen. The 0-2. Driven in the air, pretty deep right field. Jeff Costello going back on it, new out there and right for YD, and he makes the catch. Just short of the warning track, Williams didn't quite get all of it. So he golfed it to deep right, but Costello runs it down, freshly out and right for Andrew Eister.
The catcher from the University of Kentucky, Colton Kessler.
Good start from Mundy out on the mound as Colton Kessler digs in with one down. First pitch from Mundy, a two-seam fastball off the plate away for ball 1. Mundy working from the windup. The 1-0, fouled back by Kessler, a ball and a strike. Game 2 will start approximately 45 minutes following Game 1. We'll have that broadcast here for you as well from Red Wilson. The 1-1, check swing, ball missed down low. They'll appeal to third. He did go around. That's Mark Delaney making the call from third, and it's 1-2 now to Kessler. Jack Leftwich is expected to start on the mound for YD in Game 2. The righty from Florida. 1-2, swing and a miss. First strikeout for Andrew Mundy on the mound, and there's 2 outs now in the 7th. YD's pitchers have combined to now strike out 7 men today. Only a 7-inning ball game, and we're on the top of the 7th.
Now batting.
YD looking to get back above 500 for the season. They fell to 2-2 after the loss to Chatham last night.
Donta Williams.
Pinch hitter now for Cotuit. Donta Williams in there for Cameron Hill. First pitch from Mundy to Williams. A called strike on the fastball. Williams, the lefty speedster in the outfield for Mike Roberts. The 0-1. Fastball misses inside, a ball and a strike. Mundy from the windup, nobody on, 2 down. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball called strike, and Cotuit's down to their final out here at Red Wilson in Game 1 of the doubleheader. One, 2 the count. Mundy winds and fires. Line drive, base hit to right center field. Over to get it is Sam Hall, cutting it off in the gap on a hop. And he'll get it quickly back to the infield, holding Williams to a 2-out single. Not quite done yet is Cotuit. Now Nick Gonzalez with 2 down and a man on first.
State University, Nick Gonzalez.
That's a great play from Sam Hall out in center, not allowing that ball to get by him, because that could have easily been extra bases for the speedy Williams.
Showed off some speed out there in center. First pitch breaking ball is ripped to left for a base hit from Gonzalez. So back-to-back base hits at the top of the order for Cotuit. Has them threatening with 2 down in the top of the 7th. 7-2 YD leads, so they're out of Grand Slam territory, leading by 5, so some extra room to operate for Mundy.
From Oregon State University, number 11, Joe Casey.
Joe Casey comes to bat for the 2nd time today. He struck out swinging in the 5th. Was the third man Eric Tolman faced on the mound. got him swinging to end the 5th, back when Casey pinch hit for Albury Major. Mundy, first pitch from the stretch, called strike on the outer edge to Casey. 0-1. Whitey looking to close it out here in game 1 of the doubleheader. Mundy with the 0-1. Fastball this time misses away, a ball and a strike. Mundy holds his glove right at the chin. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, again on the outside corner. He's living out there to the lefty Casey, and he's ahead in the count 1-2. Mundy with the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Gets Casey swinging. And that's the second strikeout for Casey today. And Whitey wins it 7-2 over Cotuit. It's game 1 of the doubleheader. Game 2 of the doubleheader coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to run through a quick post-game show right now. Final pitch coming at 4:19, so this one took 2 hours and 18 minutes for Whitey to take it 7-2 over Cotuit. Andre, real quickly, any final thoughts before we head to game 2?
Well, Austin Wells had a, let's just say, a little bit above average day.
Yeah.
All around. It's not even just the gaudy offensive numbers. I mean, obviously 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored. What was impressive was how well-rounded it was for him today. I mean, we saw him blocking pitches behind the plate, driving the ball to all fields, the impressive pop time and the impressive throw to cut down a runner at second. Just an all-around great day and a good bounce-back performance after a sloppy game yesterday in Chatham.
Whitey wins it 7-2. They had 7 runs on 9 hits, 1 error, only left 3 on base. For Cotuit, they had 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors for the Kettleers. Meanwhile, they left 4 aboard the base paths today against YD. Andre, YD now 1-1 against Cotuit on the season, 3-2 on the year, while Cotuit drops to 4-2. How do you take momentum from game 1 to game 2 in a doubleheader like this? And on Cotuit's side of things, how are you trying to turn the page?
You know, I think if you're YD, you have to keep the offense going. I mean, obviously you have to score more than the other team to win, but when YD is at their best early in the season is when they're sustaining innings. They're the type of the team to put up a crooked number, and that is when they're at their best, when they are sending 6, 7, 8 guys through the lineup. And for Cotuit, it's about the early base runners. A lot of leadoff man on, 2 runners on with less than 2 outs, and that just set themselves up to have to play from behind or very early on in this game. And so got to have more success early in innings if you're Cotuit.
Whitey wins it 7-2. Final in game 1 against Cotuit. Andre and TJ will have the call for you for game 2 coming up in just about 45 minutes. Eric Tolman gets the win today for YD. He's 1-0. Chris Farrell takes the loss. He is 0-1. Took 2 hours and 18 minutes here from Red Wilson. Game 2 coming up in just a bit, and you'll find us in the same location here on the Cape Cod Baseball League.